Yo, everybody, what is going on? My name is Diggity Wiggity Wah, and I'm going to do something that I normally don't do. I really only have done it to, I believe, Coffeezilla, and that's do like a React video. His investigative reporting and the topics that he discusses really do interest me, especially in the crypto, the NFT, the financial scam space, and that seems to be primarily kind of where his attention is, whether it's about Ice Poseidon CX coin or the Logan Paul, with I don't even know where you want to start, Dink Doink or any of the other ones, the game he created, or uh whole bunch of them, and they're very intriguing. So on Christmas or Christmas Eve, I can't remember what it was, but I saw that Coffeezilla had mentioned to his community that there was a new Patreon video out, and the thumbnail in that had Mr. Beast and somebody that we see in Mr. Beast videos quite often. I don't remember who it was. It wasn't Chandler. It wasn't Chris. I don't remember the young man's name. I do enjoy Mr. Beast. I can't see Mr. Beast knowingly pulling off any kind of scam or anything like that. He just seems like too good of a human being. He gives back too much. Um, to not just his community, but I mean, and his real community, his IRL community with food banks and things like that. Whatever it is, I think we all know Mr. Beast has done a lot of good things for people. So I can't imagine he's done anything knowingly per se. Um, but yeah, I'm intrigued. So, anyways, let's get into it. React video to Coffeezilla's insane creator scam.
The biggest creators in the world are
First
at
time
the center
I've
of a
seen
scam,
this.
and I don't know if I should talk about it. Some have been defrauded, others are associated, and most are plain embarrassed. But I don't want to get sued. I mean, what do you think I should do?
Here, have a drink. And maybe start at the beginning?
Thanks. It started 2 months ago. Hello, this is Coffeezilla.
I know who you are, and I've got something for you.
Tell me more.
Alright, well, this is for sure a lie. There's no way you look that cool.
Okay, maybe I exaggerated the setting a bit, but I did get a call.
I love how it's Batman and it's like NES on the table.
Hello?
Coffeezilla, I've got a scam for you. It's called Revolt. Huge influencers, lies, people haven't been paid.
How much are we talking?
Not sure. Rumors 5 mil, and some of the merchandise still hasn't shipped. You interested?
Yeah, can I source you?
Nah, keep me anonymous on this one.
Now this sounds more like the coffee I know.
Yeah, you're missing the point. After getting this call and finishing my very important business, I started digging around, but the same word kept cropping up. So you have heard of Revolt. Can I put this on the record?
No, keep it anonymous.
All right, this is great info, but how do you feel about going public?
Sorry, keep my name out of it. Keep me anonymous, please.
Yeah, I can keep you anonymous, sure. I was hitting a wall and I was getting frustrated. Little by little, though, a picture emerged. Not fully on the record, not fully off. The voices of more than a dozen anonymous calls complaining about this one merch company, Revolt, run by a guy named Ryan Piacente.
A merch company.
The guy
No
who
kidding.
runs the Misfits?
Yeah, the
Never heard
YouTuber group. And believe me, they'll be involved later. The point is, I was hearing about this merch company, Revolt, and
So I've never heard of Revolt. I thought it was going to be like a crypto or an NFT thing. I know that a streamer that I watch, Systems, he streams on Kick. He's pretty funny. You should check him out. I'm not getting paid or anything to say that, but he's genuinely a very funny guy. But I know that he had invested in something that was using Mr. Beast, or Mr. Beast was involved somehow. I think it was a crypto thing, and it kind of went sour. I really don't know if Mr. Beast even knew about it, but I've never heard of Revolt. The minute I heard the name, I was thinking of, I think it's called Resolute, but that is like a financial company that I hear Simon Wilson push. I've never heard of the Misfits. I'm kind of behind on some of this YouTube stuff. I was really behind on like the Nelk Boys and all that stuff. So I've never heard of Revolt. But it's a merch company. That's interesting. A merch company. I wonder if it's kind of like that podcast company that's screwing around its creators by using their name and then not paying them.
Everyone said in 2019 through 2021, it was extremely successful, working with everyone. And of course, in exchange for this success, Revolt was happy to take a cut of each of these merch drops. In fact, I obtained some of Revolt's sales numbers from 2021, showing how much only 5 of their drops made, 20 million in revenue.
Wow.
I mean, mind-blowing numbers. These creators, who I've hidden for privacy, made $12 million. Revolt,
Well, that's
for their
Mr.
cut,
Beast
should've
on the
made
right,
$4 million.
right?
Now that is a mystery.
I love how he's like,
Screw up such a bus-
I love how he's like, we're gonna kind of like edit that out for to protect the influencers, but we all know Mr. Beast uses that type of font, right? Especially with the R. That could be anybody, but to me that just screams Mr. Beast. But so it is like that podcast company where they're kind of like saying, they're almost like a middleman, saying that they'll help the influencers or whatever. They'll sell the podcast or they'll sell the merch. They'll take a little bit off the top, and then they're taking more off the top and just not paying the content creator at all.
Revolt, for their cut, should have made $4 million.
Wow.
Now that is a mystery. How do you screw up such a business making so much money?
That's what I wanted to find out. Problem was, no one would go public.
Then you have nothing, right? Rumors, innuendo, maybe. But if no one will talk,
No, that's the thing that kills me about this story. Most of the creators did talk. Employees talked. Everyone behind the scenes, they couldn't stop talking. This is why I'm struggling with this story. If it was just off the record, I'd kill it. If everyone was on the record,
it's an easy story.
right, but it's neither. I'm in limbo.
Mobile games are going big. Clash of Clans is now
Man,
available on
YouTube,
PC.
you getting bad with the
Well,
ads,
let's
bro.
just get to what the accusations are then. Anonymously.
I was just getting to that. As I was saying, Revolt made huge profits, massive merch drops, but there was another side of things. Ryan Piacente had a spending problem. He took 6 private jet trips in a month.
Wow.
Thousands of dollars every night on dinner. We have receipts for, by the way.
Wow.
They spent $25,000 a week to rent a mansion in LA.
Holy shit.
And they rented a Ferrari for $20,000 for a week. But the thing was, it wasn't really Ryan footing the bill. It was actually
The creators.
Vault.
right. Even as this
creators.
company's raking in money, hand over fist, they were spending more than they could afford, which was brought up to Ryan as a problem.
So why aren't you a millionaire?
He spends money like a
way.
Did you always spend money like an idiot?
Yeah, I've always spent money like a. I mean, the thing with money is, I like to be able to provide that experience to everybody.
Okay, so this is my thing, right? Like, my first take is, it seems like someone from like Mr. Beast or a well-known YouTuber is the one that contacted Coffeezilla. It's just kind of the inkling I get, because they're pretty good people, it seems like, and if they're being taken advantage of, I mean, who better to let know than a guy like Coffeezilla, who's going to pretty much make it viral and has a huge following and is known for doing very good work. And also, I don't think anyone from Mr. Beast would want their persona being used as a whistleblower. But here's my thing, right? If you're going to involve yourself with a guy like this, a company like Revolt, you should probably do your fucking homework. And if you've got people around him saying he's always spent money like a fucking idiot, why would you want that to be the guy that is running your merch and doing your merch drops and handling your money? Because before that money gets to you, it's going to this guy. And you got people literally right on a podcast saying this motherfucker is spending money like it's water, like it's going out of style. So I don't know. It's like me running, I don't know, a clothing store, and all my money is going to a gambling addict. Why the fuck would I want my money going to a gambling addict? Because guess what? More than likely, eventually, if not right away, something's going to happen. I don't know. Maybe they didn't know, but again, if you're going to do $20 million in business just for a few drops alone, you should probably fucking know who you're dealing with, especially with all the shit that's going on out there. Just like that podcast guy. I forget the company or the name, but he fucked over all the podcast comedians. And
So a lot of the money that I spend is actually on other people for the most part, because I'm just like, yeah, let's do it. Like, let's have fun.
it doesn't matter, man.
Yikes. So they just spent it all? Is that it? Is that the scam?
No. You're getting ahead of me. Look, mind topping me off?
Sure, sure. If it'll get you to spill the beans. So what else?
Well, the spinning part was just the start of it. At this point, Ryan's plan was described to me by a source who knew him as Creator A does a drop. Ryan would then spend a large chunk of that on private jets, Nobu, Balenciaga, and then Creator B does a drop, but Creator A still owed money. And so Ryan pays Creator A with Creator B's money. A little Ponzi-ish, if you ask me. But the key here is that this works as long as each merch drop is bigger than the last. You can keep paying for everything. But Revolt was starting to have issues. According to former employees, Revolt had terrible logistics experience, which is okay when you sell 400 units, but when you sell 40,000 in one day, that's a problem. Not only that, Revolt is starting to pull in bigger and bigger talent, and these influencers are demanding bigger and bigger minimum guarantees.
Sure.
Ryan agrees, but things aren't like before. Some of those merch drops underperform. Now Revolt owes money not just to minimum guarantees, but they also were counting on these new merch drops to pay their older clients. So they start delaying payments.
Ah, here we go.
That's right. For the first time, creators, they start actually posting about their experiences. Not off the record, publicly.
Honestly, it's actually a really nice t-shirt, like in like a chill way.
Thank you. We're not going to talk about the company I made it with because they stole everything from me.
So, okay, like I get they're a bad company. Can you put me on their send list, please? Just like for everyone. I'll take all their merch.
Dude, I'm not sure anyone will ever make merch with them again after recently.
Huh.
It was finally happening. Big creators had started
Man, I'm
to
out
talk
of the loop.
about Revolt.
I've never heard of
Carl
these guys.
Jacobs said they're the worst people ever that just blatantly lie. Smosh founder Anthony Padilla says Revolt still hasn't paid me. It's been months. Now, I should say, for the record, that he eventually got his issue resolved. But underneath his post, another creator posted, Niachu, saying they haven't paid me either. Now, I called her, and for the first time in this case, I got a breakthrough.
I am Nikki Niachu. I'm a Twitch streamer, and Revolt owes me $300,000.
Whoa, fuck. That's a lot of money.
That's so hard to hear. That's so
I know.
unbelievable.
And it wasn't just
$300,000. That's a lot of fucking money. For a lot of people, that's more than they'll make in, say, 5-6 years of work after taxes. That is a lot of fucking money. So these guys are exactly like that podcast scam where they're essentially paying one person and they're always behind on payments and they're kind of like borrowing from Peter to pay Paul. That's the famous saying when I was a kid, when you borrow from Peter to pay Paul. So you take from one credit card to pay another credit card. And then maybe you're taking back from that credit card to pay the credit card you just took the money from. So it's very much like that podcast scam in a lot of ways. And in other ways, it's a little bit different. But $300,000, that is a lot of fucking money. That is a lot of money. And just to go back on what I was saying before, for a smaller creator like her, I can't really blame her for not knowing necessarily who she's getting involved with. But for bigger guys like Mr. Beast that have whole teams around them, I think it's a little bit negligent to not know who you're doing business with and not to know or do a little bit of research and know that this company or this guy has serious spending problems. Maybe I'm completely out of reasoning on that, but I really think that if they're going to be representing you and your brand and your company and they're going to be handling the kind of money that they're handling, you should be doing some research, and your research should have turned up that these people have some serious spending problems because his friends have no problem going on a podcast and saying, hey, he's always been like that.
just her not getting paid. She explained that
I feel
also
bad for
people
her.
who ordered from her,
Huh.
some of them didn't even get their order.
After everything was shipped, first of all, a lot of people in Europe didn't get their merch. And I messaged them about it and they said, yeah, we'll look into it. Never did. A lot of my friends who bought merch never received it.
To this date,
Yes.
these
to this-
orders, which were in 2022,
Yes.
have not been sent out or received.
Yes.
Now, as bad as that sounds, as I looked closer, I realized this was common, really common. Delays, missing orders. Sometimes the order would just be wrong, like when they sent out a pin collection but forgot the pins. Now, because of this, an insider at Revolt told me that in December of 21, they had over 100,000 customer support tickets open for quality issues
Holy
and items not being shipped.
fuck.
And that gets us to the good part.
We'll be right
In a
back.
world where common sense takes a backseat And physics is just a suggestion. Comes a movie that punches logic
It's
in
not
the
even a
face.
skip.
Are you ready for
It
best
is.
pizza of life? Bring friends down to Pepperoni Hug Spot.
Yo, but straight up,
Our chefs make pizza.
YouTube is getting so bad with the fucking ads. My wife, all she does is watch YouTube. Since the ads have been getting very bad, like, I mean, every 5 minutes she's getting like 30 seconds worth of ads or whatever. She's like completely stopped. Now she like watches Tubi, and she's honestly, for the worst, she's stopped watching a lot of creators that she was watching because she's just so annoyed with the ads. I watch a little bit of YouTube, and I know they've got like this ad blocker war going on and all that, but I can't believe how much she's cut down her YouTube watching because of the fucking ads. It really blew me away because she watches these YouTubers like crazy, and some of them don't really edit a lot of their videos, so their videos are like an hour long. And for the amount of ads that she's going to watch, she's just completely nipped it in the ass. Now she just watches like Tubi, and she'll watch 2 minutes of ads on Tubi to watch 15 minutes of movie. But for her, that's much more justifiable with the copyrights and all that.
with heart and special touch.
Tired of watching low-effort content? Then come on down to patreon.com/Coffeezilla. If you support high-effort investigations, you also get all these perks. But wait,
There's more.
Imagine your name up in lights. It's a $50,000 value, and it also helps us
Give him credit.
make things,
Give him credit.
which is good too.
Terms and conditions apply. Please read fine print for more details.
Okay, where were we? Can I get another drink, actually?
Yeah, I'll pour you another one.
Thanks. Remember that insider document I showed you earlier?
Yeah, made me want to sell merch.
What I didn't tell you is that it was all part of a pitch deck for Mr. Beast. See, Ryan Piacente had met Jimmy, and he wanted to convince him to work with Revolt. So he creates this pitch deck. You've seen the other creator sales numbers, but there were also ideas for Mr. Beast in there, like NFTs you could redeem for merch.
Wow, no kidding.
And there were also some financial projections. On their first drop together, Revolt claimed Mr. Beast would make $4 million. Across 3 years, $50 million in annual profit.
There's no way.
That's what I thought. I thought maybe the team was delusional enough to think it was possible, though. So I asked. According to insiders at the company, they actually met Jimmy and started discussing minimum guarantees and how Revolt would 10x his merch business over the next 2 years. But check this out. This being impossible was openly discussed by the Revolt team.
Oh no, they
So
knew?
so right there,
Yeah.
right?
And this
Like-
is where things go from bad to
So I've done this when we've been looking at houses and when we've done things. The real estate agent takes you around, tells you all the good things, maybe tells you a few of the negatives. When the real estate agent leaves, you go talk to some of the neighbors. You start asking them about the neighborhood, the people in the neighborhood, what it's like. You know what I mean? Like, would they buy a house here again? Things like that. You start to like kind of bang on a couple doors and say, hey, how's it going? I was looking at the house next door and my name's Diggity. What's your name? Blah, blah, blah. You make small talk, but then you kind of find out, is this house really worth the price? And is this neighborhood really worth raising kids in and all that, right? Kind of the same thing with this. To me, when they're promising something like that, you think some of Mr. Beast's crew would like pull some of the workers aside and be like, yo, listen, how's it going? My name's Carl. That's the guy's name I was trying to think of earlier. Or someone on Mr. Beast's team that we don't see on YouTube. Like, what's going on? How's the company? Is it really doing the numbers it's saying it's doing? How is it to work for? Like, looking for some of the red flags, right? Like, level with me. Like, if you let me, let me in on some of this stuff, maybe I can help you with some stuff or whatever it is, right? Maybe I'll kick you back a few bucks because you could save our bacon here. Whatever it is, but you think you'd kind of send out some probes and do your due diligence to know who you're working with because they're representing your company and your fucking brand. And if they're saying they're going to pull off the impossible when the team itself is saying, guys, we know this isn't possible. Not Mr. Beast's team, but inside Revolt, they're clearly saying this isn't possible. These numbers are not realistic. You think someone from Mr. Beast's team or some of these big YouTubers would be like, guys, listen, talk to some of the fucking employees. Talk to some of the people on the business side, the financial side of the business and say, hey, is 10x really possible? What do you think, right? Level with me. This is off the record. But fuck, man. They take everyone at face value.
worse. So Mr. Beast gets this minimum
People lie,
guarantee
man.
deal to do his 100 million subscriber collection with Revolt, right? But Revolt doesn't sell like they claim they would. It does revenue way below expected. meaning Revolt didn't hit their minimum guarantee.
So what do they do?
Well, this is where things dip into fraud, right? Our insider says, I assume this is when they decided to increase cost of goods, meaning Revolt charged Mr. Beast more for every item of clothing than he was actually paying for at the factory.
That's
a pretty
definitely
huge
fraud.
accusation.
That is definitely fraud.
Where's the evidence?
My question exactly. I got sent this.
What exactly am I looking at here?
What I just sent you is the pricing sheet from the Chinese factory, top left. You can see the invoice item says RVLT, meaning Revolt, MRB, Mr. Beast. There's unit order sizes and prices.
And what are these ink marks?
That's where changes were made. See, somebody wrote down next to the factory prices, new prices, higher prices.
Did you talk to Mr. Beast about this?
Well, nobody would talk on the record, but I confirmed that Revolt charged higher prices to their team, like it says in ink. Revolt charged more per item than they were actually paying the Chinese factories, according to their own insiders.
Who else did this happen to?
That's the thing, we don't know. I asked around, and the closest I got was an answer from a former employee. This person claims right as I was exiting the business, he started talking about that. The production manager said she could get the factories to write whatever she wanted on invoices. So it's definitely possible this happened more. It's hard to say. What I do know is when the money ran out, it all fell apart.
What do you mean?
Well, the merch business has a lot of middlemen. People who create the shirts warehouses, store it, fulfillment centers. The thing is, Ryan was running out of money for all of it. What is this? Misfits merch company going under. Earlier this year, the Salvation Army Arc Memphis received a donation of 100 plus clothing items from Revolt Factory, the merch company. This ranges from Corpse Husband hoodies to Swagger Soul hoodies and other scuffed merch. With everything coming out about the Misfits quietly shutting down, it makes sense that they were selling and donating old stock.
Wow.
They donated it?
Basically, from what I heard, the storage fees weren't paid on time to the fulfillment center, so they donated people's clothing to get rid of it.
Oh, wow.
So not only are people not getting their merch on time, some of it is literally randomly sitting on eBay because Revolt didn't pay their bills on time.
I assume you reached out to Ryan Piacente about all this though, right?
Yeah, multiple times. And we might have talked, but he ghosted me when the next wave of accusations came.
Then I think it's time to go public about this. Wait, did you say there's more accusations?
Thanks, you
Do I
two.
look zombie enough? I'm not scaring me.
Looks so real.
Thanks, you two, Baroni.
Are you gaming on a Chromebook?
Yeah.
Stop playing with it. Red light, green light.
Ain't nobody watching your bullshit.
At 7-Eleven, we're open 24/7, so you have a one-stop place to shop in the neighborhood. Seva's Ease in the Season, open every day of the
Where's my
holidays
mouse
with
cursor?
groceries, essentials.
I got two monitors going.
I mean, the thing with money is I like to be able to provide that experience to everybody. So a lot of the money that I spend is actually on other people for the most part because I'm just like, yeah, let's do it. Like, let's have fun.
You're a psychopath. Actually, or maybe a sociopath, whatever the difference is.
Operational sociopath.
You have, that is a character you have, though.
Well, sure he is. He's a different type of predator.
Welcome back
but sure.
to the $10 million studio. I was investigating what I thought was a case of financial fraud, but what happened next made it also a case of YouTube's own version of Harvey Weinstein. And I don't mean to say that to exaggerate the severity of the accusations you're about to hear. I do say it to convey the seriousness, similarities, and signal that the following is disturbing. Now, if that sounds a little too graphic, I understand if you need to click off the video. We normally don't cover these types of allegations. However, I felt that given we found this halfway through the investigation, we couldn't ignore it. See, it all started last year when there was a serious allegation about Ryan Piacente being a predator. It was made by an insider at The Misfits, the YouTubers that Ryan managed, and this guy went by Packet. These allegations range from being coerced into inappropriate acts, witnessing Ryan perv on his employees in the shower, break into clients' phones to search for private photos, take advantage of men who he has given way too much alcohol and drugs, and a lot more. Now, when this accusation first came out, and at the start of me investigating, there wasn't much in the way of proof. The only thing verifiable was that Ryan encouraged others to get trashed,
which we know because the Misfits themselves talked about it.
So funny compared to like now when that's just the norm. Like people get f***ed up all the time.
Yeah.
No, he's just the one encouraging everyone else to.
Yeah.
Now, besides this piece of evidence, there wasn't much else in the way of corroborating evidence until October, when 2 more stories came out that had very similar stories to the original, and I knew we had to take them very seriously. In one story, a guy who was between 18 and 19 was told by Ryan, quote, he saw potential in me before being assaulted in the shower. The other guy was in their early 20s and tells a story of how he was invited to a party with the Misfits, a YouTuber group he liked. But in order to get in the house, he was forced to inhale a substance as a condition of entry. Later, extremely intoxicated, he was also assaulted by Ryan Piacente.
Okay, so like when Coffeezilla said that he was a predator, I thought he meant like he was preying on, like YouTubers, like influencers. That's the word I'm looking for. Like he was a predator on influencers essentially so that he could carry the brand and make money off them and fuck them over. But sexual predator, that's not what I was thinking. But that last person where he was forced to inhale something to come into the house, let's be honest, you weren't forced to do anything because you had the option to not go in the house, right? You chose to inhale that and you chose to go in the house. You did, because your other option was to not fucking go in. But this guy seems like a real scumbag. The fact that he's like showing himself to employees and assaulting people in showers, and that's really fucked up, man. This guy's like a Weinstein.
In the shower. Now, let me remind you that these all are allegations. But let me also tell you that 4 other people have come forward who know Ryan and corroborated his character.
Wow.
One person says, one day I'll tell my Ryan P story, but for now I'll just say this. This rabbit hole goes deep. This person has been abusing his power and money for years. The trail of victims that follow this man is staggering. Another says, I've known Ryan since we were 16. He was always a weird, pervy dude from the start. Billy says Ryan P has been a disgusting individual for years. Personally, I've seen him do very questionable.
So this goes back to my thing, like with big influencers like Mr. Beast. What are you doing, man? You have built a fucking empire. You need to protect that brand because you're going around doing all this good for people, and all as it could take is one fucking shitty asshole or one scam to really bring you to your knees. And this guy is very clearly well known by not just friends since he was a kid, but business employees, financial people, like everybody involved in the industry seems to know this guy's a fucking scumbag, but he promises to 10x your money on merch and all of a sudden you're in bed with him. To me, I mean, there's got to be some more due fucking diligence done by these creators. The smaller ones, like the lady on Twitch, I can understand. I mean, if you're like a one-man band, maybe you've got an agent, maybe or a manager or whatever, I completely understand. I get it. You don't necessarily have the resources. You could still look into it, but you don't have the resources that some of these other people do. Mr. Beast is a fucking empire. Love Mr. Beast. Make no mistake about it. Love his videos. Love the things he does. Love his brand. He's always giving back. He's doing good things for people. When I see people kind of shit talk him in the news for building wells or whatever, it's like, I don't know. It's hard to not defend the guy because he does so much good. I've seen him on Joe Rogan, and you see who he really is for the most part. And the way he stood by his friend Chris after Chris has had some personal things go on in his life or her life, and he's been by their side the entire time. So, he seems like a remarkable human being. But on the business side, you got to protect your shit, man. This guy seems like a real fucking scumbag.
Things. Yet another says Ryan P is a master manipulator. I myself was manipulated by him for far too long. But that's not all. That's just what's public. Behind the scenes, I began to receive much more. One guy told me Ryan offered to fly him out and give him $5,000 to cover work. He showed me receipts of this payment from Ryan.
Wow.
He then told me I end up going and it's all
PayPal.
good for the first few hours, but when I went to the bathroom, he followed me and without going into detail, assaulted me when I clearly was extremely uncomfortable. Now, this story specifically has a thread we're going to follow because there's numerous allegations Ryan would use money to coerce people into situations they wouldn't otherwise do, like paying this guy $5,000 to come over for work. Or more commonly, he'd pay creators who were struggling for explicit photos of themselves.
Oh, wow.
People sent me emails. They'd get notifying them of Twitter DMs from Ryan asking for explicit photos, along with accompanying payments from Ryan. The reason I'm telling you about all this is not only that it demonstrates this behavior was happening and provides a financial paper trail, but some of it dovetails into fraud. Because as I started asking for some of these financial documents, I found that Ryan would often not just pay people from personal accounts. He would use business accounts to pay for these things, specifically the Misfits business account. Remember, that's the beloved YouTuber group people supported through Patreon, merch, through a podcast. Turns out their company accounts were being used in part to pay for explicit photos of some of the fans of the show. I was shown these payments, and the question is, why even do this? To write it off your taxes? No matter the reason, this is like some weird form of fraud. It's not the kind that I normally like to talk about, but who uses their business account for this? We also need to talk about what happened in April of 2016 as well, when Ryan asked a fan, can we get married? When she told him she was 16, he said, come back in 2 years, which would be when she was 18. But 1 year later, Ryan reached back out, saying this, quote, I retweeted your selfie. Do I get nudes? She replies, that's illegal. He says, quote, don't worry, I ain't no snitch. Now, I asked the person who gave me these if she thought he was joking at the time. She responded, no, I think it was legit because it happened a lot on Snapchat. And he fully tried to give me money to do it. Now, this once again corroborates the creepy behavior we've seen from Ryan Piacente in the past. So for those of you who have been counting, we now have 5 independent accusations, some anonymous, some fully on the record. We have multiple forms of evidence, firsthand accounts, DMs, payment processing receipts, and we have 4 independent character testimonies from people who claim to know Ryan. Now, as always, I've tried to reach out to Ryan to get his side of the story 7 times over 2 months and have gotten nothing in the way of an explanation. The last I heard, he was spotted at an airport, and we have no idea of his whereabouts since. Now, this investigation has been exhausting, honestly, both emotionally and just to carry all the details in my heads of all the accusations, the whistleblowers. So I imagine for you it's been kind of confusing as well. So I want to summarize this piece so we don't miss anything. There's really 2 sides to the story. We have Revolt the company and Misfits, a YouTuber group. In one, Ryan is basically accused of running a Ponzi-type merch company where he spent too much money and needed bigger and bigger merch drops to pay off debts and minimum guarantees. When that didn't work, he resorted to faking invoices to creators like MrBeast to increase cost of goods while being so bad at logistics that even when creators got paid, their fans received their merch late, the wrong merch, or no merch at all. And occasionally, creators' merch would just get donated to charity, so that's fun too. And that's just part 1. Then you have the Misfits, where Ryan used his proximity to fame and money to abuse a series of guys and girls through a pattern of grooming, intoxication, and then assault, usually involving a shower somewhere. The damage this man has done is hard to calculate because it's not just a financial number on a spreadsheet. People have stopped creating content because of Ryan. Others have had mental health breakdowns, and it's past time we warn people about them so no one else gets hurt. Thank you for watching and supporting through viewing, subscribing, checking out the Patreon. I'm so indebted to this community, and I will see you in 2024.
Well, I mean, there's really not too much to say. It's pretty self-explanatory. You know, the guy was a predator on influencers. He was a predator sexually. You know, it's a matter of time before this guy is facing some kind of criminal charges because, especially the sexual side, you're not just going to stop doing that. You know, predators are predators, and, you know, 9 times out of 10, they're going to keep doing what they're doing, even if they've gone to jail or they've been exposed. So, you know, it's a matter of time for that guy. But to me, it's more disappointing that the influencers and the YouTubers, they, I don't know. I feel like they should have vetted the merch company a little better. I would love to hear their side as to how they vetted them. Did they speak to employees before they signed any kind of agreement? Did they speak to anybody inside the company or that knew Ryan? Or did they do any kind of background check on Ryan or on the company and see what it entailed? Or did they just jump in bed with him because the Misfits had been in bed with them? Or I'm really curious, but to me, it seems like they could have been vetted better, and you know, they kind of got what they got, as shitty as that is, and as bad as that sounds. But you never wish ill will on anybody. But he's a shitty human being, it seems, based on the allegations. And it's a really shitty company that doesn't know how to manage their money, doesn't know how to manage their company. And I don't know how that wasn't spotted by a big influencer, but and then share that information with the other influencers, because I know they're always talking to each other in multiple ways. They're all, you know, they've got open lines of communication amongst themselves. So anyways, it's not quite what I thought it was going to be, but it was still interesting. I can see how that would work as a scam. And yeah, not too groundbreaking in my opinion, but very interesting. So anyways, thank you guys, gals, whatever it is you identify as. I appreciate it. I appreciate the love, the support, the hate, whatever it is. Hit me with your best shot. And that's it for me. Diggity wiggity wah, signing out. Bye.